What's up, YouTube? It's KayHon, aka KayHon Puts You On, and today we're discussing if it's an issue if Noname doesn't want to perform for white crowds, okay? And this is coming from mainly a comment, bro, because I've seen this discourse before, and I've talked with a lot of my friends about said discourse, and it's kind of controversial. To be honest, I don't know if there's a right or wrong, but we're going to try to find out today. And why am I speaking on this topic so randomly? This controversy has kind of died out. Nobody's really talking about this right now. I got a comment on this video. Don't judge me and my broken nose right here. But Vinny to the K said, what are your opinions on Noname only wanting to perform for mostly non-white audiences? And so that got me thinking, is like, okay, should I just respond to this comment with like a vague kind of opinion, or should I make a video on this topic? And I decided it's probably just better that I make a video and kind of fully express my thoughts, how I feel. And I'm not saying my thoughts are like the correct ones or they're valid. It's just currently my way of thinking right now, and that could change day to day. So let me know what you guys think. As always, if you like the content, hit me with a like and subscribe, and definitely comment, because this is something that I don't know if I'm in the right about. So where does this controversy kind of stem from is the question. So this is an XXL magazine, I think from around the time that this controversy kind of started. Noname is a very controversial rapper. She is very politically based. She is very upfront about what she feels and what she thinks, which is totally fine. I think that's totally normal. So basically, throughout this article, she talks about, y'all really pushing the idea that black people can't come to my shows because of black death and financial restraint. As if the Baby, Megan, and Shmino shows ain't black as hell. Say you don't like my shit and move around. Unfortunately, I'm not going to keep performing for predominantly white crowd. And I do believe she speaks about this again here.
People really be DMing me I'm a I'm a white fan. I'm sorry I listen to you. I know you don't want me here. Or I listen to your album. I know you wouldn't. Your music isn't for me. I've never said I don't want white people to come to my shows. I just don't want to perform for predominantly white audiences. Mm-hmm. I've always been very the same about that. That's never really going to change. I am very uncomfortable performing to predominantly white crowds. So, yeah, they are welcome to come if they want to come. I really don't have an issue with white people for the most part. Yeah. I think I just more so have an issue with how they move in society and the shit that they support, and the willingness to just consume our culture and everything about us without helping at all. If they was on some, okay, because my thing is, niggas have always invited some white folks to the cookout, whatever. That's a trope within our community.
Okay, so as you saw, her main point is basically that she doesn't want predominantly white people coming to her shows. And she makes a comment about white people consuming our culture and consuming black art and black things like that, black businesses, everything, and not giving back. The issue that I kind of have with that generalized statement is one that's very generalized, very generalized. And I think that sentiment can be true. That a lot of white people, and I think this happens with every race as well, but again, there is power dynamics between the colonized and the colonizers, and that's not something that I really need to explain. If you want to watch a video on oppressed people and the oppressors, I would recommend a National Geographic type of thing or something, a history video. But I do think there's a power dynamic. So when I say that it happens to every race, and every race may consume from this race but not give back, I think it's different when it comes to white audiences. And I have nothing against white people. I get what she's saying. I don't necessarily agree, because I think the people that are going to Noname shows are very left-leaning, and or they're going to be people who give back, who volunteer. I think just given the nature of her music, given the nature of what she stands for. I know a lot of my white friends that listen to Noname have volunteered, are very in tune with what's happening in the world. So I don't think that she's getting the fans that are very closed-minded or closed off or not giving back to the community. I don't think that's happening, because her music speaks so oppositely to that somebody that wouldn't give back, who isn't very supportive of the black community, is not going to listen to her music. I could see some random white person or random whatever race listening to the Migos or listening to a Ken Carson and then not caring about black people, because their main goal in their music is not to spread a message or not to like create some type of change, where No Names is. It's like listening to Tupac, bro. No white person is listening to Tupac and not thinking about doing or creating or advocating for change, right? Like that's just not gonna happen. Now, I think she was wrong in that one statement. I do think it's okay for her to be uncomfortable performing for predominantly white crowds, as that's just who she is, that's her emotions, that's her feeling. Now her basis for that, I don't know if that's valid. I don't think it matters because it's how she feels. And I think it's a hard concept to grasp, especially if you're not black. I've even talked to my mom. She's white. My mom's white. My dad's black, just for KayHon lore purposes. And I've even spoke to my mom about this topic of like, I think it can be hard to grasp. It's almost like having like a black club. It's like having a club that's like for black people, right? Like an African American club or something like that. And it's not that white people aren't allowed to be there. It's just that white people should not be dominating the African American club, right? Like there shouldn't be a club for black people that's dominated by white people. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the white people dominating that space. I'm just saying that it becomes less of like an African American club if there's no African American people or no black people. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no, like, I think it's hard as a minority to find those spaces where you're comfortable. And when another race, and I'm not even saying this is like a white thing, like even if the African American club was dominated by like Asian people, that would be like crazy. Or if the Asian club was dominated by black people, that would be like wild, right? Like there's no safe space for you now as a minority, and you need that, you require that. And even myself as a beautiful light-skinned melanin man, you know what I'm saying, like I look for those places too, bro. Like I'm not like fiending for that. I work in a place that's white dominated. I go outside, it's white dominated. But it's nice when the homies are outside. It's nice at the cookout. It's nice when my coworker is black. Like, it's just nice. You know what I'm saying? It's not the end of the world if I'm in a white-dominated space, because I have nothing wrong with white people. Like, I rock with white people. My mom's white. I have my family's white. This isn't something new to me. You know what I'm saying? And for black people in general, it's not anything new because you're a minority, right? Like, white people are going to be the majority, going to be wherever you are. And so I do understand No Name's ideologies and her feelings about when to perform for an all-black crowd. I think if I was a performer, I'd feel at my most comfortable probably performing for an all-black crowd. Not to say that I wouldn't feel comfortable performing for a white crowd, I just wouldn't be as comfortable. I definitely resonate with a black community more, or white people that have grown up in black culture or understand the roots and the trauma and everything going on in the world. But I do think it's weird that No Name does have a history of like wanting to alienate her white fans, and I don't really understand why that is. And even in this interview with Eric the Young God, he talks to her a lot about her responding to her white fans, and she will say things about wanting to alienate her white fans, and that sometimes when she's in these controversies, she'll mainly see responding to her, and then she's like, oh, then I'll start saying some crazy stuff.
Like, maybe I did it for this reason. Maybe I did it to alienate. I mean, I definitely was like digging in, because I once I saw an entry point, I saw who was the group that was mainly reacting. Because even when I just posted the cover art, people were responding. The song hadn't even come out, and people were already giving me so much backlash without even hearing it. And once I could see who those people largely were, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm really gonna piss you off now. Like, I'm gonna tell you exactly what you want to hear, because I don't like y'all, and I want y'all to stop coming to my shows in bulk. I've said that for years now, and that hasn't changed. So yeah, I definitely was like, all right, if this is what they want to hear, I'm gonna say I did it for this reason, I did it for that reason. But
my message to No Name, and kind of what I've seen, is that the loudest voices will be the majority, and the majority of people responding to our content are going to be white people, because that's just the majority of people. And so the most people that you'll see are your white fans. Those are the people that you're going to see, or people that want to engage in the conversation are going to be white. And so you say that you're going to alienate them by maybe responding very abrasively or very honestly, not having any filter. But the people that you are also alienating is the black voices that just didn't pop up to the top. Right, like you're gonna alienate those black people that aren't saying anything. Like myself, when I initially saw there was a whole Jay Electronica controversy, when I saw her response, I was like taken aback, and I didn't say anything about it because I made a video on it, but I didn't like tweet at her or anything, because I'm like, she's a person. She's going through things. Like, my voice, I'm not gonna add anything to this conversation. Like, Jay Electronica has his own drama. I still listen to Kanye. So what am I gonna sit here and critique Noname heavily on Twitter? Like, I'm not in a place to do so. I have my own faults that I need to work through, right? Like, these are things that, like, and I don't want to say, like, Noname's fully in the wrong for this statement. It's very nuanced. It's very, I understand why she has this take. I kind of wish that she wouldn't alienate her white fans so often, or that shouldn't even be kind of like her prerogative. I think her prerogative should be uniting black people through, like, the love of the culture, or, like, black experiences. And her white fans are definitely for the cause. I don't think that they're not, especially if they're listening to Noname. I think she should have phrased it, I feel most comfortable in black-dominated crowds, or black-dominated shows. Probably how she should have phrased it, not that I don't want to perform for predominantly white crowds. I just think there's some tact to go about this and better ways to phrase these things. Not that she necessarily cares or has to care or wants to care. I don't think that's her. That's just from my point of view, my perspective, and that's very different from hers as well. But I love Noname. This is now no hate to Noname at all. I love Noname. I love her music. I would love to interview her someday. I think that'd be amazing. This might kill my chances. I apologize. But as always, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. As always, I'm KayHon, aka KayHon Puts You On, and make sure you check out my other platforms. We're rapidly growing, bro. We got a TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube. I think we're almost at 500 subs. I think we're at like 440 or something like that, which is crazy. Almost at half a K. Instagram is at 3,000 followers, which is crazy. So we're on the up and up for sure. We're on the up and up for sure. And TikTok is at like 1,200. That really hasn't grown, to be honest, and I don't know why. But it's whatever. I'm making content. I'm enjoying myself. Ain't nothing I can do about it. I'm trying. But any growth is good to me. I really love to see, like, things progressing, how things are happening. I really have no complaints. I want to thank you guys so much for supporting me and always being there for me. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for everything. I love you guys and appreciate you guys so much. Peace out. Be smooth.